Hello, welcome to the next video lecture on strength of materials.
I have taken a bar here. So if I subject this to a load P on either side, tensile or compression, I'm showing tensile stress here. If A is the cross-sectional area of this bar, and we know that sigma normal stress is the ratio of P by A, right? That we already know. It is a standard bar case, and we can also calculate what is the deformation in this or strain in this. This is called uniaxial system because the stress or load is acting only on one direction. Now, if there is a possibility of applying a force like this on the surface, it is actually shear force. The corresponding stress induced is called shear stress, and shear stress is given by tau is equal to P by A. So if you consider the bar now with tensile force and shear force, now it is actually different from uniaxial stress system. Such systems are called compound stresses or combined stress system. Stress systems in which direct normal stress and shear stress act simultaneously are called combined stress system or compound stress system. Next, we will see there is a compound stress system in a unidirectional load itself. We already know that if this bar is subjected to load P, we know at any section, I will take a section here, and this section has cross-section area A. Okay, normal to direction P, the area is measured as A. And we know that stress is uniform on this. Normal stress, whatever we calculate here, is sigma is equal to P by A. That we already know. Now, we will take a plane which is inclined to this plane. I will draw a plane here. I'll call this as E, this as F, and this point as G. And let us say this plane is inclined to vertical at an angle of theta. Theta is what? It is the inclination of GE with respect to FE. FE is vertical, is normal to P. And G is inclined at theta degree to EF. I'll call the area at GE as A dash. Now, on the plane GE, how the stress distribution will be? Or will there be normal stress, shear stress? There will be both normal and shear stress on plane GE. I will tell you how it is. This P, whatever is shown in the right side, I will resolve it into two components. One along the plane GE and other one perpendicular to the plane GE. This is along the plane GE. This is perpendicular to the plane GE. So I'm actually resolving force P like this. One component here, other component here. And this angle will be equal to theta because the plane GE is inclined at theta degree to EF. And now I can resolve P into two components. This component becomes P cos theta and this component becomes P sin theta. Now you see P sin theta is a force acting along the plane GE. When a force is acting tangential to a plane, it should induce shear stress. So P sin theta divided by A dash is a shear stress on the plane GE. And P cos theta, which is normal to GE, when a normal force is present, it should induce a normal stress on the plane. So on the plane GE, there will be a shear stress like this, and there will be a normal stress like this. This is called sigma theta, and this is called tau theta. So any plane you consider other than EF, you will find that there will be normal and shear stress both. But on plane EF, shear stress will not be present because theta becomes 0 there. Now we will try to find out an expression for sigma theta and tau theta in terms of P, A and theta. If you consider the triangle GEF, EF is area A. Let us assume that the bar has unit thickness. But GE area is A dash. And can I relate these two with theta? I can do it. Cos of theta is equal to A by A dash. Therefore, A dash is A divided by cos theta. Now we will try to define what is normal stress on plane GE. Normal stress on plane GE, it is a normal load on plane G divided by area of plane G. What is a normal load on plane G? It is P cos theta. So P cos theta is a normal load divided by area of plane G is what? A dash. And A dash we obtained it as A divided by cos theta. If you simplify this, it becomes P by A cos square theta. But P by A is what? It is normal stress sigma. So this is equal to sigma cos square theta. This is called sigma theta. It is a normal stress on a plane which is inclined at theta degree to the vertical. Similarly, we can also try to find out what is the equation for tau theta. So shear stress on plane G is equal to, the shear stress definition is tangential force on the plane G divided by area of plane G. If you look at this, the tangential force on plane G is P sin theta. P sin theta is the tangential force on plane G, and area of plane G is A by cos theta. So we'll substitute that. So P sin theta divided by A by cos theta. This becomes P by A sin theta into cos theta. And it can be written as sigma into sin 2 theta by 2. Therefore, tau theta is equal to sigma by 2 sin 2 theta. So in a uniaxial member also, we can find out shear stress and normal stress on any arbitrary plane like this. If I divide this member now about the plane G and try to write the equilibrium of forces, how it looks like? It looks like this. There will be a force here, which is applied force E, like this. And this force is resolved into two components, one along plane GE, this is the plane GE, one along the plane GE, and other one perpendicular to the plane G. So since we have two forces, we'll get one of the component like this. Opposing that will be a force like this. Shear stress will be like this, and normal stress will be like this. This is sigma theta into area actually. This is how stress will act, and this is tau theta. But on the opposite side here, it will be acting like this. Tau theta will be acting in this direction, and normal stress will be acting in this direction. This is sigma theta and this is tau theta. So when you separately write the two portions, you will have to write like this, the equilibrium. So we will try to analyze the equation of shear stress. So what the equation we obtained for shear stress? Tau theta is equal to sigma by 2 sin 2 theta. Tau theta is equal to sigma by 2 sin 2 theta is a function of theta. If you want maximum shear stress, or if you want to find out where exactly maximum shear stress occurs, you have to differentiate this. Dou tau theta by dou theta you have to do and equate it to 0. So when you do that, you will get sigma by 2 cos 2 theta is equal to 0. Sigma by 2 cannot be 0. So cos 2 theta has to be 0. And cos 2 theta to be 0, 2 theta should be equal to 90 degree. Or theta should be equal to 45. What it is signifying is the maximum shear stress occurs at a plane 45 degree to the plane of uniaxial stress. The maximum shear occurs at a plane 45 degree to the plane of uniaxial stress. The significance of this value is, see, when you test a specimen, when you apply load here, especially in case of cast iron specimen, when you load, at the failure, how it fails? It fails in a plane like this, breaks here. What is the plane orientation? It will be 45 degree. So in the compression test, what happens? The shear stress will be greater than the strength in compression. That is why it is called a shear failure, which happens at a 45 degree plane, because that is a plane of maximum shear stress. This phenomenon is observed in compression test of cast iron material. but it may not be so in case of ductile material like mild steel, because there
Shear failure will not occur due to excessive plastic deformation.
in compression test of CI specimen, CI stands for cast iron, CI specimen, failure surface is at 45 degree, since shearing strength of cast iron is less than half of its strength in compression. That is why it fails at that plane.
But if the same material is tested for tensile load in UTM,
The specimen shape will be like this. This is tension test specimen, but here it breaks here. This is the failure surface. But in compression, this is the failure surface. Both are cast iron specimen only. The reason for horizontal failure surface in case of tensile specimen is that the shearing strength of cast iron is more than half of its tensile strength.